Hey guys, YourKingSkeletor here, and welcome back to another Battleborn build guide. Today we're going to be looking at this amazingly sneaky, snake right here, known as Pendles. Now, he's a very unique character. Unlike anyone else, he's got permanent stealth. He breaks it when he attacks or uses a skill, but all you have to do to re-stealth is break line of sight. Combine that with his commas, which do insane damage, and throwing stars to nab people from a distance, and you've got yourself an insanely frightening character. So, let's take a look at the gear loadouts I use for him real fast. Now, when it comes to Pendles, I have two different loadouts for gear. In main missions, in game modes like Incursion and Meltdown, you'll be playing an entirely different role than you will in Captures, so the gear should vary a lot. So, for the general loadout, you would use, because he could get away with running 3 legendaries on most game modes, I run the Symbiotic Gauntlet for that unreal attack damage buff. Especially since when you drop below full health, you want to get out of there. So you're not going to be losing the buff for your max health too often. Next, I run the Vow of Zealous Flurry. It's a really rare drop from Rendain on normal difficulty. Oh, and by the way, the Symbiotic Gauntlet drops from Guardian Arc on, I think, normal difficulty from the mission The Sentinel. Anyways, back to the Zealous Flurry. It gives you insane attack speed, critical hit damage, which is not the greatest for Pendles, but still helps. And every time you activate a skill, you'll get even more attack speed. Let's pretty much turn him into a monster right there. Now, for the last piece of gear, I advise the Boots of the Brute, but I've yet to get them. They're a really, really rare drop from Foreman Grawl on advanced difficulty. What they give you is increased movement speed, but the reason I like them over this is for their hidden effect. Every 3 seconds, your melee attack will slow the enemy for about a second. So, they will never be escaping you. But this works too for now with sprint speed and lifesteal. So, now don't worry if you don't have any of these though, because you can just simply run your best Gauntlet, your best attack speed buff, and your best movement speed or sprint speed, and you'll still be pretty good. Now for Capture, you'll be playing less of an assassin role and more playing the objectives, since you could slip by the enemy and just run from one base to another, securing them. So I advise one legendary, either Boots of the Brute, Symbiotic, Gauntlet, whatever you feel like, but preferably one of the 3 I recommended above. Simply because that way, if you get into combat, you at least have something to aid you. Next, I would advise a free shard generator. I don't have one yet because Lootpocalypse is making it hard to get one. So I'm just throwing on the cheapest I have. But free shard generator there so you could get the defense up easily and hold the base a while. And last but not least, I'd advise a shield capacity, preferably free. Both of the free items are minus reload speeds because he doesn't get affected by it. But I don't have a free shield generator yet, so I threw on a recharge because that helps too. So that's going to do it for the gear. Let's take a look at his helixes. Okay, let's start with the first tier. You should never be using your smoke bomb for damaging because, well, simply put, it's your escape and people won't stay in the cloud long, so always choose Cobra Strike. Plus, it will help you nail people as they run away, possibly finishing them off. For tier 2, I typically would choose Flash Bomb, because Smoke Bombs being thrown from Ninjaneering, not really good at all. Because again, they're your escape, they're not a weapon. You're supposed to just use them to get out of combat. So go for the second of blind because that'll help you get away easier. For tier 3, most people would choose backstab, and it is really good, don't get me wrong, but people expect it a lot, so I go with Flurry of Blows so that when they turn around I can still keep the damage up at an insanely high level. Combine that with the attack speed from my gear, and the attack damage, and I will literally shred a full health Montana face to face. But if you're in story mode, I'd advise Mamba's Bite to add a little survivability to him, just in case. Now for tier 4, the life leech is not at all necessary. You don't ever need it. So it leaves it between Potent Venom and Savage Cut. Potent Venom seems good at first, but 1 second slow is not that great. So I go with Savage Cut to add some DOT to it. So when they start running, it's easier to kill them, because they'll usually be within range for it to finish them off in time. Now, for tier 5, I used to choose Cloaked and Cover, but found that it actually isn't really that good, so I started choosing Escape Plan. If you ever end up in combat without your smoke bomb, then after you take a certain amount of damage, you'll get it back. Meaning, you won't really have to worry too much if you're about to die. Now, tier 6, either of them are good, but since we picked the Flash Bomb earlier, Feint isn't really necessary. You've already got enough escape opportunity. So I'd typically go with the Sweet Spot, so when they turn and run, you could get extra damage off on them. Now, tier 7 is entirely dependent. Deeper Pockets is cool and all, but I never have chosen it. It does not work at all. So, here's what it comes down to. Do they have a lot of melee characters or not? If they have at least 2 melee characters, I would choose Poison Blood, so when they start fighting back, they'll take increased damage. If not, take Coiled Spring so that you can maneuver faster. Okay, so tier 8, Bountiful Bombs is pretty good if you end up in situations without it a lot, but you shouldn't if you're good with Pendles. Again, Acidic Blast, not at all needed because your Smoke Bomb's an escape, not a weapon. So that leaves From the Shadows, which is amazing. It actually will allow you to wreck. Basically, just throw your smoke bomb to gain on someone and then hit them with injection and it'll deal a shit ton more damage. Tier 9, always go with Relentless Strike so you can get more injections off. The more you can get them off, the faster you could kill everyone. And last but not least, tier 10. It depends entirely again. If they have a lot of medics or one real good healer, choose Necrosis to shut their healing down. Otherwise, go with Venom's Synergy for the extra damage, because it really does help. Well, that's going to do it for the Helixes. So, let's hop into a round of gameplay. So, here we are with a quick round of Meltdown on Paradise as Pendles. So, as I had mentioned, he's a very unique character. He relies on his stealth entirely, which reactivates the second he breaks line of sight, but deactivates when he either attacks, uses a skill that isn't Smoke Bomb, or freaking taunts, or tries to warp back. Those are the only things that will deactivate him other than reveals, which we'll discuss in a moment. And as promised, we will also be discussing ways to counter Pendles here in a few moments. So let's quickly jump on in. And as Pendles, you typically don't want to go after the minions, but on Meltdown, you kind of have no choice. And never, ever, because I'm doing this offline since I still don't have online access, but never go near these accelerators. They will reveal you to the enemy faster than you can say, oops. So, as Pendles, your main goal in the game is going to be to disrupt the enemy. That includes stealing their giant shards when they start spawning, destroying their buildables, and just plain on killing them. But as Pendles, you mainly only attack them when their health is low and they're alone, because you are not very tanky at all. You will die a lot as Pendles if you don't know how to play them right. And so let's jump into discussing his counters real fast while we run back to the spawn for a sec. So, the easiest ways to counter Pendles are with characters that have a reveal. These include just a few of them. our freaking what's his face? Toby, when he aims down his sights with one of his helixes. Umbra has a helix that her sunspots will reveal. And then Maiko has a mutation he could unlock where his Houdinis will, or not Maiko, Marquise, my bad, has a mutation where his freaking Houdinis will reveal. So, those will literally, because without his stealth, Pendles can't do crap. And those will literally just wreck his day, any of those characters. Now, when he comes out of stealth, Pendles runs about as fast as Alani, so he becomes insanely slow, but once his stealth reactivates, he gets an insane speed boost. And another good thing to note about him is his talent, Snakeborn. Don't worry too much if you get caught in a crowd control like Wrath's Dreadwind or anything, because the second it touches you, then it loses a fourth of its duration, so it actually might help your team sometimes to throw yourself into it for a second. I couldn't jump for a moment. But other ways to counter Pendles are characters that could lay an attack down directly on the ground, like Oscar Mike, because he's got with Fragcendiary Grenade and his Airstrike. Which, if you go with Concussive Strike, highly advised, then you'll also slow him down. Then there's Alani. You could throw your ultimate at the ground, you could throw the geyser at the ground, or you could turn around and Riptide. Another amazing counter for Pendles is Orendi with her Shadowfire Pillars, which could also reveal them. All you gotta do is drop them where you're standing and keep running. They'll clip them for some decent damage. So, if you don't feel like playing any of those characters though, there's a way any character can counter Pendles. All you have to do is quick melee, the second you get hit, turn around, with offhand melee right away, because a Pendles is likely attacking you if it's from the back. And most importantly, back up towards your teammate. Just don't turn your back to him, and just continuously attack him until you reach either friendlies or kill him, or like possibly die, depending on your luck. So that is how you would counter a Pendles, since so many people struggle with them. All of those will literally wreck his day. I know, because the bots have done them to me. Bots and bosses in story mode alike. And none of them make for a pleasant day. So we're going to quickly just gank this shard real fast. We've now got our first piece of legendary gear. And we're going to quickly go up here and steal this now. I'm not too worried about the objective right this second. But right now, go away, Umbra. So let's see. Quickly going to go steal their shards so they don't get any defense up. And then we're going to keep on our assault for a bit. So, see this turret right here? You might see it for now, but I'm about to destroy it. Which is one thing Pendles is amazing at doing, is just wrecking their defense. Their defense doesn't stand any chance against Pendles. Yeah, I know I could have recloaked there, but I was waiting until I got there. So we're gonna attack this one now. Okay, we're taking Flurry of Blows for reasons discussed earlier in this guide. So, we're gonna also quickly gank this shard. Why did you think it was wise to attack me, El Dragon? Fine, run back to your spawn. I'll still clip you for some damage. Avoid those at all times as Pendles, because they will wreck you in a second. Those little shield generators from Cleese do a shit ton of damage with the right augments. But that's besides the point, because they do a shit ton to anyone, so just avoid them in general. We're gonna quickly run through that one. See, that's how much it did to my shield in one tick. You don't get to live, turret.
Minwreck is pleased. Minion altars relocating.
Okay, we're halfway through already. Ow, Boulder's gonna kill me. Boulder's about to finish me off, so I'm gonna break line of sight and run for my life. We're gonna quickly gank this, actually. So, as you can see, Pendles is insanely squishy. He gets hit, he will probably go down. So, yeah, against a player, I probably wouldn't have escaped that situation at all without my team there. Well, let's see. We're gonna run on over here real fast and steal this last shard. Another good thing Pendles is great at is building defense to disrupt the team. Just in general, disrupt them in any way you can. So we're gonna build that turret there to distract them for a few minutes while we go destroy their turret. And before you ask why I'm not going for those, you can't hurt those. We're gonna shred this up real fast because I don't want it here. So that's gone. And then I guess we'll go for this other turret if it's not up all the way. And if I don't get stuck there. Oh, it's already built fully.
I see a new target. Ah, what do I do? Ah!
Thank you for dying, Toby. You're adorable, but you're not too cute for me to kill, Toby. Okay, I missed that jump, but that doesn't matter, honestly. So we're gonna take Savage Cut, like discussed earlier. So when they turn to run, I can still get a shit ton of damage off on them. And we're gonna destroy this so our bots can get through easier. Our little robots. Oh, there's an enemy shard here. Well, enemy's turf shard. We're gonna steal this now real fast, and I've got 3 enemies pursuing me. I'm not gonna fight in that right now, but okay, now I've got backup, so I'll take the one at the back, Boulder. I needed to stealth again real fast. We're gonna do this now. And then we're gonna run. That'll cover our ass a little bit. But we really need to get out of here right now. We do not need to be in that situation at all there.
Shepherded to our altar. Giant minion moving out. Bring it to Minrek.
So we're gonna quickly... Okay, we're gonna steal that shard now. That's another use of Savage Cut, by the way. I know I haven't shown it to you yet, but you could use it to jump over things. And since their team has 2 melee characters, I would actually go with the freaking melee reflection if I got that far. But I'm not high enough level at the moment because this went pretty fast. I don't think anyone's higher level than that. Yeah, this round went insanely fast. Okay, so I'm gonna fall back and heal up a little bit more. And then I'm gonna start up a new clip, so I'll be... Actually, I don't think I'll need to. We're about to end this. So, because I've got 3 minutes left on the clip. We've ended it. We have won! Let's taunt that. So, I didn't really get to show off the full Helix build in action, but I guarantee you that after much testing, there is no other real way to play Pendles that well. There's a few alternate choices, but for the most part, Pendles is a one-trick pony. You you pretty much have to play him the way I built him for him to really do that well. Well, hope you guys found this guide useful, and well, if you enjoyed and found it useful, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. Sorry about that pause there, was drinking some water. Anyway, and feel free to also share the video so that others can get some use out of it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Yeah.